Okay, well, quite a long time ago, I teased the fact that I'd been given a big box full of Texecom goodies to have a look at. So what I thought I'd do as a means of sort of introduction to this is actually show you what I've got, and then following on from there, I'll go through them one at a time, give you my thoughts on them, go through some nuts and bolts for how to use them, and so on. So, without further ado, then let's see what I've got. So this just as a main introduction, this box very generously was sent to me by Texecom. Um, and it's a mixture of stuff. I think some of it's customer returns or other items that have come in, and I've got them to have a look at and write about and tell you what I think. So this is what I've got. So some of this stuff I've never actually seen before. I've seen on the website, but never in real life. So where should we begin? So first item is this one. So this is a Premier Elite OHW smoke and optical heat and fire detector. It's a ricochet device. This one completely self-contained. I've already got I've got a wired one of these, not a wireless one. So that will be fantastic. So I'll look forward to trying that one out. So that's the first one. So I'll keep it out of the way. Next, I've got quite a number of these micro shock detectors. I've done a review of these already, actually. I think for all the other ones, including a sensor. These are just the same thing, but just for doing shock detection. And these would be ideal for my windows downstairs. And so I've got quite a few of those actually. So one, two, and I'll find some more in a minute. I've also got the micro contact, which I've already reviewed. Got several of these, and I've actually got a place to put these there again downstairs on my kitchen windows. So it'll be great to be able to make use of those. So what else do we have? This is quite interesting. This is a box of proximity key tags. I've seen these in the catalogue, never actually had any in my hand before. I know you can get others that do the same job, but here they are. Pretty much what it says on the tin, really. They're like quite nice tags. I guess you can write on them or something. I've never tried using these in my panel. Might be an interesting idea, so I'll test those and report back. So what else have we got? Well, these actually, I think these are some of my old detectors. Actually, these ended up in the same box. These are ones that I, for various reasons, not used. I can't remember why now. A couple of them are ones I just took down from building work and place with ricochet ones. Oh, actually no, this is a ricochet device one. This is a PWW, and I think that means it's a pet sensitive one, which is quite useful because I have a cat now, which I didn't have before. So I'll need to look into those a little bit further. But one thing I do actually need to do is replace all my sensors with pet sensitive ones. So that's that one. Let's see what the other one is. I don't want to lose a screw. And then this one is, let's have a look. This one is, it's another ricochet device, very nice. Oops. And this one is yes, it's another PWW. I'll need to check the what the manuals say on this, but I'm fairly sure these are pet safe ones, which is great news because I've actually had to switch most of my detectors off temporarily because of the cat setting them off. So that's very handy. Okay, what next? Well, this is an old device of mine. This is a shock detector, which I moved off one of the old back doors. So that's another ricochet device. It's quite old, a lot bigger than these ones actually. It's also a contact detector as well, but I think this range has been discontinued by Texecom now. So what have we got? Yes, a couple more of these micro shock detectors. So I've got 4 of those altogether. Let's see what else we can find. This is absolutely fantastic. Look at this. So this is again a ricochet control panel, completely exactly the same as the normal control panel, but it runs completely wirelessly. So definitely interested in having a go at this. If nothing else, it should let me play around with the alarms up here without making a lot of noise downstairs. That's a really nice thing. Now here's an interesting one. I don't know how many of you have seen one of these. This is one of the smart plugs that goes with the alarm system. Now I don't know how many of these are out there. I've got to be honest, I'm not quite sure what I'd use it for either. But it'll be very interesting to get it synced up with the alarm and see what it can do. So what else? Well, here's one of the flasher interfaces. Now, again, those of you who've read the blog before will have seen my great efforts to really effectively reverse engineer the flasher PCB, which I've been able to do. And what's interesting, if you look at this now, is that almost everything on here is completely redundant. You don't need the IC, you don't need the capacitors, you don't need, well, they don't really need anything much. The only thing you really need is a couple of resistors and a switch. And the switch and the reset button are there. I'm not sure, there must be some resistors in there somewhere, but it's an extremely simple circuit actually if you boil it all down, and there's lots of stuff on the blog about that for those of you who are interested. But I actually had to start the journey by buying a genuine article, which I think is that one. I think, yes, and here's another one, brand new, in its box, unopened, that one. So let's have a look, see if it's any different these days. Oh, it's in better condition than mine was. When the first one I got had been so badly squashed in transit that the ribbon cable had been chopped in half. No, there it is, and look, it's absolutely identical. It really is. Copyright 2005, that one, so it's quite an old one. You can use it for programming all the old Texecom boards way back, and I think they had less smart electronics on board in those days, which is why you have the need for the extra bits and pieces. So anyway, it's nice to have a spare one of those. And it reminds me, actually, I need to think about flashing the panels. I haven't done it for a while. So that's that. What next? Right, here's another alarm sensor. This is an AMQD. I need to, again, without checking all the documentation, I can't remember exactly the difference between all of these. Let's have a look. So again, that's quite a nice one actually. That's a completely different design from the ones I've got at the moment. And according to the instructions, yeah, these are these are fantastic. They come with all the original bits. So yeah, it's just a different form of detector really. So again, that's another one that'd be nice to test out, because I've got a few areas of the house that don't actually have any PIRs. Which would be nice to get some in for extra security. Now, yes, here's another one of those PQ sensors, and this one, I think this is an old. This isn't very interesting. This is just an old wired one of mine. I can't remember again now why I took this one out. It looks a bit dusty. I think it probably came out through one of the bits of renovation we've done. Yes, this is an absolutely standard sensor, that one. Nothing interesting particularly with that. And I have probably now got more wired sensors than I actually need. Put that back together again. Okay, so what next? Yeah, now these are fascinating. I've only ever seen these in the book before. I've never seen them in real life. But these are these portable arming disarming keys. They're quite a lot smaller than I thought they would be actually. I thought they'd be larger than that. But yeah, so the idea you can arm and disarm the alarm from one of these. So yeah, very interested to try one of them. Whether I'll carry one around, of course, is another matter, but it'd be interesting perhaps to have one in the car. Yeah, what about this? This is an interesting one. This is a carbon monoxide alarm. Again, it's a ricochet one, so this ties in with the house alarm. And I have actually got a log burning stove in one of the rooms, so this will be just the thing for monitoring that, because I do have a battery powered alarm, but you are meant to replace them every so often. Right, now getting towards the bottom of the box now, but oh right, well this is jolly interesting. This is a genuine Premier Elite USB COM, so this is a proper USB cable, unlike those fake bootleg versions I've been building. So I've been building, as you can see, and you've seen in the blog no doubt, one of these, which is just a bog standard FT232, I think it is, FTDI serial interface anyway. And in fact, any serial interface will work unless you're programming. The programming software needs to find the specific FTDI device. But this is very nice to have a real one. The ones I've made have been slightly heat Robinson, although to be fair, they've worked fine and been very cheap, because to buy one of those cables is unfortunately quite pricey. And then just at the bottom of the box, oh look at this, loads and loads and loads of batteries, and these are great because these are all the slightly, very again, special funny shape of lithium battery that a lot of the sensors use, so it's lovely to have a few of those to spare. And then again, look at this, an awful lot of similar specialised, these are AA batteries, whether they're lithium ones or not, I don't know, probably not. Well, possibly actually, but they're 2,900 milliamp hour AA cells, just the job for some of these sensors. I think they go in the smoke alarm. And then what else have I got? Well, yes, here, this is a Premier. This is the Ricochet box, the 8XP. Now, I think I have actually now expanded. This is the first one I had. I've now got a 32XP instead, which is got the greater number of zones in it. So that's downstairs in the kitchen. This is the 8XP that came out of it. But these are, you need one of these in addition to your panel if you're going to use Ricochet for anything, unless you've got one of the W panels that's got Ricochet built in. The bigger Premier Elite ones in the metal boxes, like I've got, don't. Then the last little bits are just a few random cables. Oh, look, another one of these. We've got our his and hers ones of these. That's quite nice. And a few bits of wire for your batteries. Oh yes, and then look at this. Again, you'll have seen these on the blog before, but these are the header adapters that give you an extra accessory port on the Premier Elite devices. These came in with one of the later firmware releases that uses a little used header on the top, and it allowed you to have effectively an extra serial port. Now with my alarm, one thing that's not on this video because I've already installed it is the SmartCom which I got. That's now in and working. Again, that needs a proper review, and I'll talk about that separately. It has meant that I've needed a few less of these. At one stage I had one in for the network adapter, a separate one in for the serial programming, and I think I might have used a third one, I think, for the GSM modem. So these are always handy to have to give you an extra one. So in fact, I've been glad to buy 5. I sold the others to people who wanted them, and I've now got a spare again, so that's nice to have. So yes, and then other than a few other odd bits of cable, I'm not quite sure what that's left over from. Oh yes, I do remember that was a mistake. I bought some very, very cheap serial cables off eBay, and they didn't work. Well, they didn't work very long. And a couple of other odd bits of header adapters and cables, which are useful to have. And yes, I think. Oh yes, and a nice compliment slip as well. So I think that's everything. So that's the box. So I've got a big pile of goodies to work through now, and I'm sorry for the long absence on this blog, but I am keen to get going again and I'll actually start writing about these and maybe do a few videos as well. So this channel obviously I've only got one video on it, so very keen to know if you're interested in it, anything else you'd like me to cover, and I'll support it obviously with the blog and more detailed articles, but I'll try and do some video reviews as well of this equipment as I go through. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching.